Man, come on, Mike T.
Mike Tannenbaum, God love him. All right, Harry, boy, bad, take it away.
So, Brittany, the first person that we have on the list is going to be Victor Wembanyama. This young man has an opportunity to be the most dominant player in NBA history, in my opinion. Look at that block. Beat it to the beatbox, but not only that, give me that ball in transition. Derek Lively is saying right now, I did not sign up for this. Look at he's toying with him, playing with him, hits the three, and gets the foul. Watch this. Beat it to the beatbox. Get that out of here, young man. Give me the ball in transition. I have ball skills. I can dribble, I can pass, I can shoot. Three and the foul, y'all. Victor Wembanyama. That boy bad. Now, this next person, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Charles Barkley, what you asked for, you gonna get. He said last night on NBA TV, on NBA, Inside the NBA, he better have Shai on that boy bad. Look at him, Shai, getting to his spot in that mid-range jump shot. If you don't stop and set your defense, guess what? Shai is gonna make you pay. But watch this last one. I didn't think he made the best decision at the end of regulation. Should have hit the open man. Shai says, I'm not selfish. I believe in my guy. Wiggins with the dagger. Boom. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, y'all. That boy bad. Let's go to the gridiron. We talking about NFL football. Look at this first touchdown by Justin Herbert, who's playing unbelievable. There's a reason why he's leading the league in passing right now currently. Dime on top of dime. But let me throw it to White Lightning, a.k.a. Baby Tim DeWhite. Lamp McConkey, dime. But I love this. Watch the movement in the pocket. It's not there. Let me keep my eyes downfield. Trey Harris, a rookie wide receiver, getting his touchdown. Justin Herbert, y'all. That boy bad.
So well done every single week. Charles Barkley loves it, and so do we. All right, on we go back to looking ahead to the games this weekend, and Joe Fortenbaugh will start a game of Who You Got with You. We got the Ravens and the Bears in a fascinating matchup. Who do you like?
Baltimore. The focus is on the Ravens, the injuries, but they are coming off the bye. Defense getting healthier. Hopefully we see Lamar here. I want you to pay close attention to Chicago. 4-game winning streak in which they forced 15 turnovers. 15. Nothing predicts wins and losses like turnovers, but the Lord taketh and the Lord giveth. On the other side, I want you to look at Jacksonville for prediction here. Jacksonville went 4-1 to open the season, forcing 14 turnovers. They've lost their last 2 games because they haven't forced any. The Bears are forcing turnovers at such an astronomical rate, not sustainable. It falls off here. Ravens win the game.
Okay, that's a fascinating pick, and obviously so much of it we would assume will depend on whether or not we see Lamar Jackson in this game. So what do we know about that, Peter?
So much going into that game against the Rams was we're going to rest Lamar Jackson. He gets the entire bye week. We come back healthy. We go on this crazy run. Well, Lamar Jackson has been at practice, but he's been extremely limited here as far as what he's been doing. Keep an eye on those other quarterbacks. Obviously, there's Cooper Rush, but Snoop Huntley as well. Truth of the matter is this. It is not a slam dunk that Lamar Jackson is under center on Sunday. And if that's the case, you have to watch the Ravens and what they can do because they do get a lot of guys back on defense, which has been their biggest problem this season.
That's your old team, Bart, and I'm going to ask the question this way. Someone said it on our post-show meeting yesterday. I think it was the right way to do it. Sunday is either going to be the beginning or the end of the season for the Ravens. Either they start doing this, or if they lose this game, it's really time to write it off. Is it going to be the beginning or the end?
Well, I think it's the beginning, right? They're taking all the distractions out of the facility. That's symbolic that, listen, we're locked in, and when you come through these doors.
Yeah, for those who don't know, they got rid of like the ping pong table and all that kind of stuff.
Basketball court. We got an indoor half-court basketball court and all that stuff.
Jason's right. No ping pong. It's all good. That was the issue.
What's holding them back?
No, what's holding them back is sometimes when you're used to winning all the time, you get immature and unlaxed and unfocused. We go gamble on basketball inside the half court. We play ping pong. We gamble on everything in there. So now it's like being able to go in there and be able to relax and say, listen, this is all about football, strictly business.
So what do we think? Beginning or the end of something here, J-Mac?
Is Lamar Jackson playing or is he not playing? To me, that's the big thing, because if we're going to say it's the beginning and it's Snoop Huntley or Cooper Rush, that's really not fair to the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson has to be out there. Schrags, you just said he's limited. If he's not able to go, if I'm the Baltimore Ravens, I'm rolling with Snoop Huntley. I'm putting him in there. Yeah. He has the ability to run. He can do more. So I would think he would be the guy, but it's hard for me to say do or die in Lamar Jackson.
There's the picks. What do you think, Harry?
So this offense for the Baltimore Ravens in the last 4 games that they played, which happened to be 4 losses, 9 turnovers. You got to protect the football. Also, the Chicago Bears, the last 2 wins that they've had, they've rushed for 183 yards in both of those games, averaging. Yep. So I think they're doing a great job, and Ben Johnson, as a play caller and the head coach, he's really finding his niche right now.
This is the measure of a team. This is a team that's been knocking on the door. For me, this is like Ravens, look in the mirror. I don't care who's at quarterback. We have to find a way at home where they've been embarrassed so many times this season. This is truly a fork in the road game, Greeny. I don't think you can exaggerate it enough. you have to beat the Chicago Bears in your building.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure they will. We'll see. If they do, that's why I think it was well framed. It's either the beginning or the end of Baltimore for this season. Meanwhile, great college weekend. Some of the SEC's top teams are on the road tomorrow, and it begins with Alabama heading to South Carolina, take on the Gamecocks after dropping their first game. Bama, as you know, has won 6 straight, including the last 4, all against ranked opponents. South Carolina has dropped 4 of their last 5. Arch and Texas go to Mississippi State. Last time these teams met, Manning made his second career start, throwing for a career-high 325 yards. This season, though, he has really struggled on the road, averaging less than 200 passing yards per game. And then we got third-ranked Texas A&M heading to Death Valley to take on LSU. Aggies are favored, but the home team has won the last 8 matchups in this series. Tigers look to avoid their 3rd loss in their last 4 games, and we are getting you set, as always, with Heather Dinich and Jordan Rogers, who will tell you what's at stake and what's going to happen. Let's start, Heather, with you. What happens if Brian Kelly and LSU lose this game to Texas A&M?
Well, their playoff hopes become dire, Greeny. If you're not a conference champion, that 3rd loss, you're starting to play with fire. If you look back the history of the entire college football playoff, which ESPN research did, about 70% of at-large teams would be 2-loss teams. Okay, so let's start there. But when you talk about Brian Kelly and a 3rd loss, if they lose this game, Greeny, it would be their 3rd loss in the past 4 games. And this would be a fail when it came to Brian Kelly's own expectations. We all heard him say this summer and this spring he believed his offensive line was capable of competing at the nationally elite level. He believed this defense was capable of competing for a national title. And after a 3rd loss, that calls everything into question.
Yeah, it feels like it would be pretty much the end of that conversation. So, Jordan, let's look at their opponent, Texas A&M, number 3 in the country. Are they the best team in the SEC if they win this weekend?
Oh boy, I still have Alabama ahead of A&M, only slightly because I think Ty Simpson's the best quarterback in the country. But Texas A&M has 0 weaknesses. They have a dynamic athlete at quarterback that's developing as a pocket passer. He can still tuck it and hurt you for 70 anytime you want. They have an elite offensive line, really good run game with Reuben Owens stepping in for the injured Le'Veon Moss. And on defense, come on now, they're 2nd in the country on 3rd down. They have an elite pass rusher in Cassius Howell. They have 0 weaknesses. I'd give the edge slightly to Alabama just because Ty Simpson, but man, this A&M team is good. So to Heather's point, bad news for LSU.
Jordan, if you can, ask the guy to stop mowing the lawn for a moment outside your hotel room while we're having the conversation. You did mention Alabama as the top team in the SEC. They play South Carolina this weekend. Are you worried about Bama?
A little bit, right? I mean, Alabama's a better football team, but for 2 reasons I think they could be on upset alert. The first, Joe Fortenbaugh mentioned earlier, they're coming off 4 straight ranked opponents, all wins, but can you maintain the mentality and the focus that you need for that 5th win in a row against a team that you probably should beat? And second, there's 2 guys on the other side of the football field for South Carolina that are elite. Dylan Stewart, one of the most talented pass rushers in the country. He's a game wrecker. And Lenore Sellers has had his ups and downs, but at the end of the day, he's one of the most physically gifted quarterbacks in the country, period. He can change a game any moment. So with those 2 guys, you just never know. Alabama's got to bring it.
And so, Heather, what is at stake? Alabama's number 4. As you look at their total resume and everything since that, what happened against Florida State, what happens if they win this weekend?
Well, Greeny, I'm going to go big picture on this because right now they're in play for a 1st round bye, a top 4 seed. But if they continue to run the table, it would not surprise me if they were in consideration by the selection committee for the top seed overall. With all due respect to an Ohio State team that might be better than last year, Alabama would have played a more difficult schedule. Now, could the selection committee get over that loss to Florida State, which in retrospect is getting worse and worse every week? But as we sit here right now, Alabama's strength of schedule is number 2 in the country, and Ohio State is number 33. So when you look at the rest of the schedule, they've got opportunities to continue to impress the selection committee. LSU should still be a CFP top 25 team, even with 3 losses. Oklahoma should be a CFP top 25 team. What's Ohio State gonna have as its best win? Texas is going to be an X factor in that conversation.
And let me get one more quickly from you, Heather. Let's talk about Texas. They're on the road against Mississippi State. Do they still have a shot to get in the playoff?
They sure do. I mean, we talked about 70% of at-large bids going to 2-loss teams, but they've got to run the table. They've got to start playing like a CFP team. You can't just almost beat Kentucky in overtime and expect to edge out another 2-loss team that played better down the stretch and has a better resume. So yes, Texas is still in the mix, but they got to start looking the part.
And they need their quarterback to play well. Jordan, quickly, what do you need to see from Arch this weekend if they're going to win?
Well, Arch has got to make the easy throws look easy, and that wasn't the case against Kentucky. They were terrible, like 179 total yards of offense. He probably had 4 or 5 throws that he just flat out missed that were big opportunities, and because of that, everyone's talking to Steve Sarkisian. Are you going to keep calling plays? Sark is still one of the best play callers in the entire country. He needs his quarterback to make the plays that are there, that could change the game. 16 points is not going to get it done against Mississippi State. They have a pulse on offense, unlike Kentucky the last couple of weeks. So Arch has got to make the easy throws look easy. A couple of weeks ago, he's making the really hard throws look easy. Just hit the layups, and this offense is going to be just fine. Kentucky's a tough place to play on the road sometimes, but he's got to be more consistent for sure.
Heather Dinich, Jordan Rogers, have a great weekend. We'll see you guys next week. Outstanding as always. Coming up, back to the NFL, Cowboys facing a mile-high challenge. What will make the difference at Denver? We'll tell you next. Plus, coming up at the top of the hour, do not miss First Take. Their HBCU tour continues. They're live in Birmingham ahead of the Magic City Classic between Alabama A&M and Alabama State. It's Stephen A., Cam Newton, and Ryan Clark, Amina Smith, and other special guests. It's 10 a.m. Eastern here on ESPN. But before we get to that, we get to this. We are back on Get Up with Sneaky Hembo and sort of an out-of-context baseball bat. Here we go. Aaron Rodgers getting set to go against the Packers. Maybe Micah Parsons sacks him a bunch.
Yeah.
The question is, which player has sacked Rodgers the most times in his career?
You have to think about the divisional opponent because that means you get 2 times playing him. I went through the list. I don't think it's Khalil Mack. I don't think it's Julius Peppers. I think it's Hall of Fame pass rusher Jared Allen.
Have you ever gotten one right?
No. Did I get it wrong again?
Turn around.
Let's go! Baby Stray.
Little
Guerrero.
Little
He
league
got one
photos.
right. And it was by a wide margin. Jared Allen, 15.5. Leonard Floyd, Everson Griffin, and Julius Peppers. That is well done. Okay, you showed me something there, Schrager. You showed me something. So let's do Show Me Something, shall we? Here we go. Looking ahead to Week 8. Harry, you'll be on the ESPN radio call of Bills and Panthers. What does Josh Allen need to show you this week?
So we know the Buffalo Bills, Greeny, they're extremely hard to beat when they take care of the football. In the last 2 games, which happen to be 2 losses for the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen has 4 turnovers. So versus this Carolina Panthers defense, protect the football like your life is depending on it.
J-Mac, you'll be calling Titans and Colts. What can Daniel Jones show everyone who's still questioning if they can trust him as the guy?
Yeah, for the Joe Fortenbaugh people of the world, hey, you can trust this guy. And look at the team buying. You're going to see Jonathan Taylor right here. This is going to be a big pass play. But look at the block, the dedication. He has improved so much. This is Khalil Mack on the defensive side of the ball. Go ahead and take that. Jeff Saturday would be proud of that right there. Now, Daniel Jones, look at the vision. He's reading the cornerback. Once that cornerback bites down on that short route over the top, I thought he couldn't throw the deep ball. 53 yards in the air, making a big play. Here's a game against the Cardinals. Late in the 4th quarter, hadn't played his best ball. Calais Campbell in his face. Watch where he puts this ball. Right on the money to drive them down the field, to put this touchdown, to put them ahead, and ultimately win that game. Daniel Jones is for real, and he continues to prove it week after week.
Indiana Jones. Finally, Bartholomew, the most anticipated game of the week. What does Aaron Rodgers have to show you against Green Bay?
Well, he has to show me that revenge is a dish best served cold. He's going back and facing his old team, and he's looking at a kid that took his job. He needs to come back like Brett Favre came back against him with that energy and say, hey, I taught you everything that you know, but not everything that I know. So he needs to go back there. He needs to orchestrate this offense with the 3 tight ends. He needs to attack Michael Parsons and make a strength of Green Bay a weakness. and make sure that he gets touchdowns, not field goals.
Look, I mean, the stars in this game are Micah Parsons and they are Rashawn Gary, you talked about earlier this morning, and obviously Rodgers and Jordan Love. At the end of the day, the X factor in this game to me is the Steeler defense.
Yeah.
Where are you guys? The Steelers were supposed to be the place that, like the Broncos did with Peyton Manning once upon a time.
Surround them with defense.
Let the old quarterback sort of ride it, just make a play here and there when he needs it. Rodgers is more than holding up his end of the bargain. Is the Steeler defense going to show up?
Oh, we're going to see. And I think you look at the names on that Steeler defense.
That's what I mean.
You better believe that these guys, if there's anything left in the tank, they're going to show up for this matchup. A guy like Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, Deshaun Elliott, those guys in the secondary that didn't perform well against the Cincinnati Bengals, Flacco tore them up. They have to show up in this game, and those pass rushers up front are still getting after the quarterback.
You can put the picks up if you would, please, Ronnie. I mean, Bart, did they just get old fast? Like it happens in sports sometimes. The Steeler defense just got old?
Well, I think so, and I think, listen, they're trying to play what they used to be. All this man-to-man, Jalen Ramsey, like it's smarter ways. Blitzburg used to be, about the zone blitz. I think you go back to that. You have to protect some of these older players who can play great at times but can't hold that on consistently.
Joe, your pick is not on the screen. Which way do you go?
I go with the Steelers here. Mike Tomlin as a home dog is one of the spots you look for throughout the course of his history. 72% against the spread, and he's not just covering those spreads, he's winning outright. He's 19-12 as a home dog. They've had 10 days to get ready. Everyone here knows you're never as good as you look last week. You're never as bad as you look last week. That defense will make some adjustments. Plus, how good is Green Bay? They haven't covered the spread in any of the last 4 games. I know that's not the only metric we look at here, but they haven't been that impressive on offense. One man's humble opinion.
And the legendary quarterbacks tend to win these rematch games. Brady did, Manning did, Favre did. I have a feeling that Aaron Rodgers is going to find a way. One more game I want to get in before we run. Dak Prescott hoping to finally get a win against the Broncos Sunday. That's one of 2 teams he's never beaten. He's riding high. He's got 4 straight games of at least 3 passing touchdowns and 0 interceptions. And the matchup, I wanted to do a demo today. We didn't have the time. But we got Harry Douglas representing C.D. Lamb and George Pickens. We got J-Mac.
Want me to put those jumper cables on them out here?
Somebody go pull
representing the outstanding corners in Denver. So who gets the edge? When you got the 2 great corners on one side, you got the 2 great receivers on the other, who's the advantage go to?
I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys because C.D. Lamb might not be matched up with guys outside. Now you're talking about Jaquan McMillan, Jahdae Barron, so I'm going with C.D. Lamb who can play all over the football field as a wide receiver.
I hate to say it, I'm going with the wide receivers in this matchup too. I love the corners that the Denver Broncos have. I just think Dak Prescott is playing that good of a football game right now. And people used to always ask, who's the hardest receiver that you had to cover? And a lot of times I would say Harry Douglas, but it was predicated on the fact that he had a really good quarterback and a guy like Matt Ryan. The quarterback position is important.
Triggs, what's your eye on this game?
I look at Bo Nix. Look, last week was his heroic comeback for the Broncos. Everyone was so excited about this Broncos team and what they did. Bo Nix looked terrible for the first 3 quarters. And as we see Drake May make the leap, and as we've already crowned Jaden Daniels, what is Bo Nix? This would be a statement game on a nationally televised stage where he can come out there and he can go head-to-head with Dak Prescott. But I don't have that much confidence in this Broncos offense, even if they put 33 up.
This is a super important game for the Dallas Cowboys because if they win this, get their 4th win, they got the tie. This elevates them within that division with Philadelphia being unsure. And I think this would be enough to convince Jerry Jones to be aggressive during the trade deadline, maybe banging a Trey Henderson and create some balance on that defense. That defense doesn't have to be great. When you have an offense like that, it just needs to be good enough.
They made that pick 6 last week. That was so huge just to get anything from defense.
It was.
Anything.
They were more aggressive, too.
We could put the picks up. Joe, what say you?
Denver, I'd lay the points here as well. It's tough to get behind the worst defense in the NFL when they're playing on the road. You're not going to have the crowd noise here. If you fall behind in this game, it's throw, 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 which a lot of times that's what it is anyway for Dallas. But Denver pinning its ears back with the crowd noise at altitude getting after you there, I like the Broncos.
That's the home road split you were talking about.
Yeah, Bo Nix over 233 passing yards as well.
But Jackson Dart lit that defense up and was able to move the ball. This is Dak Prescott. Best season. He's an MVP candidate, in my opinion. He should be the front runner.
He will be if they win this week. I agree. This is a statement game for both teams.
Awesome game.
Really, great weekend of football coming up. We hope you enjoy all of it. And coming up at the top of the hour, we hope you will enjoy the continuation of First Take's HBCU tour. They're live from Birmingham, Alabama, ahead of the Magic City Classic between Alabama A&M and Alabama State. Don't miss it. They're 5 minutes away on ESPN.